All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Kyle Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harikah Kudash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder heroine as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is Kanak Shalom by Yasharallah from the Lions of the Yasharallah camp. And this lesson is going to be on the United States is a waning economic superpower. When will policymakers realize it? All right. I'm gonna put a link to the. I'm gonna put a link to the article that I'm reading in the description box. Lord willing, I remember to do so. When I was reading this article, it put me in the mind of a lesson that the elder did a couple months ago, where it was an interview with George Soros dealing with the New World Order, and it said in the beginning of that video, it said that as the world progresses and to move forward with their New World Order or their new form of monetary system, that America is going to be slowly lagging behind and circling the drain. All right. So it says the U.S. is a waning economic superpower. All right. So you look up that word, definition of that word waning. It says, especially of a condition or feeling, decrease in vigor, power, or extent, become weaker. All right. It says, in a sentence that they use, it says confidence in the dollar waned. All right. So now that's spiritual, because for them to use that as the example sentence is exactly what this article is talking about. And that's prophecy, man. All right. So this dollar that they use to manipulate the world is coming to an end, man. And they're going to try a new form of currency. All right. So before I go in the article real quick, I want to get scripture, James. I don't want to get two scriptures. James chapter 5, verse 1, it says, woe, go to now, rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Because they thinking that by them eliminating the dollar and eliminating America's economic wealth through the trade and special drawing rights dealing with the petrodollar, these other nations feel like they could just set China up, which is already established with this digital system, as being the new powerhouse, economic powerhouse country, and Russia and Iran being like the NATO form of it. Like China would be the European Union, the financiers, and Russia and NATO. I mean, Russia, Iran, and North Korea would be the ones that would be formed a NATO alliance, even though China would be a part of that. But China's economy will be the stabilizing economy for this new world order. All right. But what it is everything is going to be eliminated by Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, so James 5:1, it says, go to now, ye rich men, not rich men, rich men. All right. Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. So that's Edom, especially, and these other nations, man, that have got wealthy off the delicacies of this dollar. All right. So now they've been realized they're crazy because they've been bamboozled. Okay. It says your riches are corrupt. Your garment is moth eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered. All right. This dollar system is flawed. All right. It's a fiat de facto currency that people established on faith in America's military and the OPEC deal and NATO and the European Union being the financiers that really own the dollar. All right. So now it says America is a waning economic superpower. So if it's waning, that means it's decreasing. All right. Becoming weakened. All right. And these other nations are seeing that and they're licking their chops because they wanted some type of return of investment back for all the resources that they gave to this place to get in place of that a dollar. That doesn't amount to anything. Okay. So let me get this is Isaiah 14:9. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Right. So everybody's raising up to see, because they're seeing the dollar collapse. And that's, the dollar is the only thing that America can stand on. They don't have any resources. They don't have any great export. Everything is imported. It says, so and that dollar has brought hell on these other nations, man. So all that hell that this dollar brought on these other nations is waiting to meet them at their coming. All right, but it's all the chief ones of the earth, man, are going to be are licking their chops, waiting for the downfall, the economic downfall of America. Verse 10, it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us, man? So America is being weakened economically, and what did Tupac and Kanye said? Get your money up to go to war. Well, America's not going to have the financier money to go to war when it all comes down to it. They're going to strip this whole country bare, man. They're going to strip this whole country bare. You know? All right, so now that word weak is a chala, and it means to become weak or become sick, become or be deceased, become grieved, become sorry. All right, to be made weak, to make sore. All right, become wounded, man. All right, so Yahweh Shem Yahushua is wounding this place, man. Ultimately, going to destroy it. Bring it all the way down. All right. So the article says the United States is a waning economic hegemon, but far too few Americans, including politicians, realize this. The eventual new and very big kid on the block is under all but extreme scenarios. China, and after China, India. All right. By 21,000. The United States will be in third place when ranked by GDP. All right, I don't see us going that long. That's like another 87 years? No, 87 years. Nah, I don't see the Lord's going to be here before that. It says producing only 12% of global output compared to China's 27% GDP. All right, and India's 16%. This is the message of comprehensive new study by ourselves and co-authors. The study just released by the National Bureau of Economic Research separates the world's countries into 17 regions and is carefully collaborated to the United Nations demographic projections as well as the International Monetary Fund's fiscal data, all right, the IMF. It says the two major forces determining a region's economic future are its labor productivity growth and its demographics. Based on historical data, China and India's labor productivity respectively reached 30% and 13% of the U.S. U.S. level by 2050. And 2100, China will be as productive as the United States and India, 30% as productive. On the other hand, China's population slank to shrink by centuries ends by 4 million people, depopulation, by more than the current U.S. population. India, in contrast, is due to gain 4 million plus inhabitants. It's like in 2100, its population will exceed China's by 50%. Meanwhile, the U.S. population will grow by some 30%, adding roughly 120 million people, more than the current population of the Philippines. These changes are massive and startling, but they are dwarfed by those coming in Africa and the Middle East. By centuries in sub-Saharan Africa will have 2.4 billion more people. This is the close to adding the population of the current day China. So what's happening is the Lord is bringing all the people back to the earth that he wants to bring judgment upon. All right. Everybody's going to receive some sort of judgment by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, or it's going to be according to all the works they have done, whether it be good or it be bad. It says the count of the Middle Easterners plus North Africans is scheduled to rise by almost 800 billion, nearly 2.5 times today's U.S. population. So as everybody's economy and population grows, you know, America's going to be slowly lagging. America is not going to be the place that everybody's trying to go to live that American dream. They're going to visually see it as a nightmare. All right. It says other populations will shrink through 2100. Japan's by 40%, Western Europe's by 10%, Russia's by 4%, Eastern Europe by 36%. Interestingly, whether region-specific populations rise or fall, all regions will experience dramatic population aging. Take China. Those aged 70 or older currently comprise 6% of the population. By 2100, they will constitute 26%. For Latin America, Central Asia, and South Asia, projecting aging is equally striking. Aging portends dramatic fiscal stresses, particularly paying pensions to elderly. Right, so the more older people that they have, the more pensions that the government has to pay, if there's even any retirement or social security still around. It says, so we don't even know, so the more older people that you have, the more the government has to pay out with Medicaid, because they're past the working ages. The younger generation is what keeps the economy thriving and booming. Solidifying and strengthening the workforce, which is going to ultimately strengthen the economy and can ultimately strengthen the GDP for that region. All right, it says several regions, including the United States and China, will need to dramatically raise their payroll tax rate. The sooner the better, to fund their retirees' benefits. That's what I was just saying. All right, it says demographic changes in population size and age distribution matter greatly, but productivity growth is fundamental. In 2100, sub-Saharan Africa will have 30% more people than China and India combined, but that region's slow productivity growth means its shares of world output will hardly budge from 2 to 4%. What about automation? The West currently has more high-skilled workers to produce and use advanced technology, but as shown in a companion study, an automation must proceed more rapidly for it to matter. All right. It says the vision of the future may seem inconceivable, but revisit 1945 when America's economy commenced half of the world's total. Back then, China's share of global output was tiny. Today, the U.S. global GDP share is just 16% and rough, partially with China's. By century's end, China's economy will, as indicated, be more than twice the size of the United States. As for Russia, its share of world output will dwindle to 1% from 3% today. And that's what they're trying to squeeze the butter from the duck out of Russia by everybody supplying Ukraine and making it harder for Russia to fight against Ukraine, to annex the parts that they're trying to annex. However, you have countries like China, who they're lifting up to have a booming economy, that's going to come to aid for Russia and to help build Russia out as the powerhouse. They don't need Russia to have, as long as they control the pipelines and the oil that they have over there and continuing their military strength, that's the only thing Russia really truly will be needed for. All right, it says projections are driven by uncertain assumptions. Still short of an imminent and permanent decline in Chinese productivity growth, the 21st century belongs to China. Given this, how will America react? All right. Most likely by falling into Thucydides' traps, the tendency of waning hegemons, Sparta and Greek historian I don't even know what that word, THUCYDIDES, to preemptively confront rising powers. Athens, to retain dominance, witness in this regards. So they're basically going back to basically the fall of Greece, the fall of Rome, to really establish, to show the trends of, okay, it says, I wish I knew how to say it, a THUCYDIDES trap is a term popularized by American political scientist Graham T. Allison. It describes an apparent tendency towards war when an emerging power threatens to displace an existing great power as a regional or international hegemon. It is coined and primarily used to describe a potential conflict between the United States and the People's Republic of China. All right, so basically, as China's economy increases, the United States is going to try to put a stop to that by bringing war. All right, it says, witnesses in this regard are new policies that limit China's access to chips and commit us to defending Taiwan. So now that's going to be the excuse that they use in order to wage this war against China, and using China as the scapegoat, or blame shifting to China to make it seem like it's justifiable for them to go to war with the rising economic superpower in China. It says, attempting to reign in China economically and militarily will come to a very high cost with unlikely success. So, they realize that, America is not going to be able to succeed with this. It says, then again, Sparta did subdue Athens. Its secret was external help from Persia. A coalition of the United States, Europe, Japan, Southeast Asia, and India could overwhelm the Chinese tiger. But doing so would require maintaining of a tight alliance for decades, something that worked for Athens and Sparta. But, you have India that's already said that they're going to go against America. All right, it says, something that worked for Athens and Sparta during the Persian Wars, but not thereafter. In sum, the United States and China are trading economic places, but the process is putting our two nations on a likely path to war. This would be terrible, long-lasting damage to both economies, leaving others like India to pick up the pieces. All right, so, but this is all being done by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, buddy. So there's nothing really America can do in this situation. Just circle the drain, like Yahweh Shem Yahushua is setting up for America to do, just to circle the drain. All right. So let me get a scripture real quick to close it out. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. It says, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Right. So this is exactly what you're seeing happening. All right. Waning hegemon economy in the United States, and the people being in such denial, thinking that America is going to continue forever. It says, come sit down in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right. And that's the Lord stripping his place naked, man, starting with the dollar. All right. Once the dollar is taken out, now they're going to try to form a digital dollar for America to still be in the SDRs, right? Have special drawing rights. But how valuable is that digital dollar going to be? All right. What is it going to be backed by? Verse 2, it says, take millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks. Make bare thy leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. All right, so they're going to grind the economy down to a halt, man, and expose the nakedness and the shame of this place. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. All right? And I want to skip down to verse 7 because this is the point. No, let me keep going. All right, because the Lord is not going to meet with America, sit at the round table and negotiate. The Lord's come to destroy this place, man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, power of hosts, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is his name, the Holy One of Israel. And that's what we wait for, man. That's what we wait for, because we want to see this place fall. Okay? It says, sit thou silent and get thee unto darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, because Illuminati, the so-called illuminated ones, they've been that beacon of light, supplying what this place needed to push their agenda. But that light's going to be put out. The light of the wicked shall be put out, says Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, sit thou in silence and get thee unto darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms, man. It says, I was wroth with my people, right? Because the Lord is no more the Lady of Kingdoms, riding on that beast, man. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them unto thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, man. All right. So they didn't have any mercy upon us. So the Lord's not going to have mercy upon them. It says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever. That's what everybody says. It's like the title. It says, U.S. is a waning economic superpower. When will policymakers realize it? Because they're in their mind, they're still thinking. It says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to heart. Neither didst thou remember the latter end. Like, they didn't realize what everything that America was doing across the world, what was going to be the latter end result of that, right? And it says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, thou that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I see the loss of children. But this is going to see the loss of everything. America's going to see the loss of everything, because they're going to see the face of Yahweh Alashadja. That's who they're going to see the face of. And the Lord's going to totally destroy this place. It says, verse 9, it says, but these two things shall come upon thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children, widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection. All right, the Lord is perfectly destroying this place. It says, for the multitude of thy sorcery and for the great abundance of thy enchantment. And they were doing that through the dollar, man, and manipulating the minds of the people, man. And the Lord has a trick for that, man. All right, he's going to take up a proverb against the king of Babylon and destroy this place. All right, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and served its purpose. With that, I'd like to say, Ka halayim la Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harikah Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Helwan as well. Salutations to the argument that are pushing this truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.